Hi everyone, this is Cheryl. Welcome back to That's It. So it is day 12 of the federal case of Sean Diddy Combs. And can I tell you, that courtroom was so emotional of the testimony that former Sean Diddy Combs' assistant had to testify. And she's using a pseudonym named Maya to protect her real identity. And can I tell you, what she has testified, what she had said against Sean Diddy Combs, what had happened to her, I was emotional that I started to cry, that I had to take a step back. The jurors were started crying because what she has testified, what she had said, what happened to her for the last decade, this was my reaction of what she had to say against Sean Diddy Combs.
Damn! Damn! God damn! 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 Damn!
Okay, you guys, before I go into Mia's testimony on day 12, I just want to talk about Ray J. Yes, Ray J. Now, I don't know if you all remember that he did an interview on TMZ back on November 13th of 2024 that he kind of implied that he knew of Sean Diddy Combs' victims, that they were sexually abused. There were like end to the freak offs and stuff like that, they were coming to him for help, for guidance, to, you know, help them, to point them in the right direction, what they should do, according to what Ray J was saying. I'm just paraphrasing. And then when I look back on that video, I even said, he seemed like he's a liar. He seemed like he's not telling the whole truth. Maybe he's just trying to get cloud bait or trying to get attention because, for a very long time he was very not blah blah, not irrelevant. That's the word I was trying to say, not irrelevant, because he was in love and hip hop, and I believe in what, Atlanta at one point, and now he's no longer. So now he's just trying to make himself irrelevant by being on TMZ, doing this interview back last year, and trying to imply that maybe Sean Diddy Combs was involved in this and he knew a lot of people, but he was not saying any names, but he kind of pointed it out, and then he said, yeah, I said it. Come and get me. Something like that. I'm just paraphrasing. And then most recently, he did an interview with Piers Morgan Uncensored on May 27th of this year, and his tune and demeanor is totally different compared to the interview that he did on TMZ last year. And I was wondering, is it just for clout bait? Is he just trying to just to get attention? Is he really telling the truth, or is he really lying? And if you guys don't remember the interview for last year, I just want to jog your memory and have you remember what he said in his own words. So check it out.
About artists paying victims to keep their name out of it.
Do you know people who have had demands put upon them where they have paid off to keep this quiet?
Here's what I do know. People do catch and kills all day. And a catch and kill, I don't know if, of course, you know, but for the regular world, somebody has the truth, somebody pays you to keep it quiet, and hopefully that money that you got paid secures your happiness while you watch the lie continue to succeed.
Well, I want you to make sure I understand you. What you're saying is what? That you know people who have been approached by women, men, whatever, who have said, give me money and I won't talk?
Here's the other way around that, Harvey. I'll give you money, please don't talk.
You are a well-connected guy. Do you know that what you've just described, is that going on now?
Yes.
Now let's stop right there, okay? He said yes. Sorry. He said yes, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes of Piers Morgan interview, and he said something completely different. Now, the question is, Was he telling the truth in that interview on TMZ, or was he just lying just to say what he needed to say just to get some attention? Or was it just all fabricated or made up? I just don't know. Just looking at him seemed like he's just a liar and he doesn't tell the truth, or he doesn't know from the truth or a lie, or he just made the whole shit up. Excuse my French. And that's the impression that I'm getting. And I even said that last year when I saw this interview, that he just probably making it up. Again, trying to get clickbaits, trying to make himself irrelevant. Yes, he's been a close friend with Sean Diddy Combs for many years. But you're trying to tell me you've been to his parties and you have no idea that he done the freak off? You just been to his regular parties? To me, that's hard to believe. It really is. I feel like in my gut that he knows more than he's telling or saying, and he just don't want to be involved. Now, if you didn't want to be involved in this, why do an interview? Why even say anything? You should have just kept your mouth shut and just let the prosecutors and the defense team or whoever do what they need to do. You don't see any of his other friends, Sean Diddy Combs' friends, stepping out or saying anything. Everyone's just keeping quiet since last year and then until this day now. No one has not spoken a word about anything except for Ray J. Let's continue.
They want to talk to me. They want to talk to me about what happened to them. They call me. They feel like they can
Who
trust
called
me.
him?
Wait a minute. Calling you for what? Calling you for what?
Because they want to tell me about certain things that happened with them and Diddy.
Ray, I want to make sure I understand.
I just want to stop right there. Like I said, I'm going to show you the interview. He said that other women want to come forward and tell him, but then he has a different tune on that interview with Piers Morgan just most recently. So, who's telling the truth here? Who is?
Understand this. Are these high-profile people calling you because they've had some affiliation with Diddy that they don't want to come out, and they think you might be the vessel for it coming out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I don't even know why I just said it, but I said it, so what? Now they gotta be mad. Come get me.
There you have it. Come get me. And I remember he had an altercation with someone that, and I don't remember the full story of it, that there was guns shooting out, and he did, it was on his social, on his Instagram, that people were shooting at him or shooting around him, and it has to stop, and I'm just paraphrasing. Maybe it's a possibility. It may be his sons. It may be Christian Combs, Justin Combs, because remember, one of his sons, Sean Diddy Combs, had an altercation with a gentleman called G, that Little Ron, Rodney Jones, had said in his lawsuit that there was an incident that happened in the bathroom, that guns were shooting in the bathroom, that Mr. G got injured. So is it possible that one of Sean Diddy Combs' son probably did something to Ray J or tried to scare him because of what he said in that interview last year? It's a possibility. It's a possibility. Do I have any proof of it? No, it's just a gut theory that I'm having. Now, we're going to go to Piers Morgan interview and hear closely. And I wrote down some key words, what Ray J said to Piers Morgan. And when I listened to it, and I listened to the video, watched the video multiple times while I was taking notes, some of the stuff was very, very alarming. And it just gave me a little clue what he was trying to say, Ray J. And I'm just going to let you listen to it in his own words.
That's what we're witnessing here with this case, that this was consensual. It may be freaky, it may be sexually deviant, it may be all these things, but it was apparently consensual behavior and not a crime.
I agree, and there's things that we saw in these videos, and they were disturbing, and that's not okay, right? But looking at the crimes that he's being charged for, this is where it starts to go overboard, and it's like whoever was mad at the top was really mad.
Now, hear what he said. Whoever was mad at the top was really mad. Now, I always said, And I stand by this. There was always someone head of the snake of this empire. It was not only Sean Diddy Combs. There was always someone higher. Sean Diddy Combs pissed someone off, probably in one of his businesses of his alcohol beverage, Ciroc and other Revolt, whatever it is, really pissed him off, and they wanted to make an example of Sean Diddy Combs. That's what I believe. And that's what Ray J is implying. Someone at the top. Like I said, Sean Diddy Combs is not the head of the snake. There's someone else higher than Sean Diddy Combs, and they wanted to set an example of him. Think about it. Who called the FBI to have them come to his home last year to raid his house in Los Angeles and Miami? Who did that? Unless someone knew, the head of the snake knew what Sean Diddy Combs was doing for the last decade. Okay, so you can't tell me that the FBI just like, okay, I'm just bored one day and I'm just going to raid his house, the LA and Miami. Obviously, they got a tip off from the FBI that said, you know what, I have some information of Sean Diddy Combs that might be in interest of you. So if you want, I can give you some information and you can just go to his home and raid his home and you will find a lot of stuff that's really inappropriate or illegal. Not inappropriate, illegal. And sure enough, that's what they did last year. But listen again what Ray J have to say.
And I think we're here now, and I think it's a flex. Because, like, what are they trying to get out of this in this court case? Does everybody that's talking about these stories, do they want to see Puffy rot in jail? Is that what we're here for? Because I just think that's unfair, and just knowing everybody, it just could have been done a different way, and now it's starting to worry me. And I honestly think that Diddy will get out, and I think that there's nothing here. Right? I think they made their point, whatever they were.
Now, listen what he said. He said there's nothing there, and then they made their point. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Because obviously there's proof of assault and abuse, even though he's not being charged for domestic violence. But there's other things that was happening during the last decade, okay, that he has people in his enterprise doing illegal things, kidnapping, arson, sex trafficking. That's part of the RICO, okay? Obviously, domestic violence is not part of the charges that he's being charged with. But like I said in my previous video, the prosecutors, the federal government, they only need one or two. He's being charged for 3 counts. They just need 1 or 2. If they have evidence and proof to back up one of those counts, he is going to prison for the rest of his life, period. And for Ray J to say that, it's just very stunning to me. You know what I mean? So obviously Ray J knows more than he's saying, but he's keeping a tight lip and he's only saying the bare minimum.
Trying to make your point is made. Now let Diddy out.
So basically, this is what I'm saying. Let Diddy out, meaning that whoever put Diddy in this situation, the higher up, what Ray J is saying is, you made your point. We got it loud and clear. Now free Diddy. Meaning that whatever proof or whatever they have, they can, give to the FBI to say, you know what, we made a mistake. Let him out. That's not how it works, Ray J. That's not how it works. Once the federal government, and that's the government, this is not like state, okay? Once the federal government got something on you, it is so hard for them to turn a blind eye. I'm sorry, that's just the government, that's just FBI, okay? There are no joke. If they want to put you in prison, they're going to put you in prison, no matter what. They will do whatever it takes. And let's say, hypothetically speaking, Diddy goes free. Let's say he goes free, and the jury say not guilty. You don't think the prosecutor is going to try to retrial this? Obviously, because the FBI don't like to lose. They don't like to lose. It's just like in the Army, in the Marines, we don't like to lose. We want to win because they have, the FBI and the prosecutors, they have a rate of people that they put in prison, and they want to keep that number. So for them, losing is not an option. Obviously, they want to gather much evidence as they possibly can, make sure everything is factual, make sure everything what the witnesses are saying, all the evidence is incredible. However, The FBI don't like to lose. They want to prosecute Sean Diddy Combs and have him be sent to prison for the rest of his days.
He did.
Wow, you think he's gonna walk?
I think so, and I personally think it's going to happen faster than a lot of people think, because I think we're all starting to see what this is, even if you're on the other side of it. I mean, you know, the justice system is the justice system. Where does this fit in right as opposed to right and wrong? It's off, and I don't like it.
Here's my problem.
I want to be wrong.
Okay, there you go. So we just have to wait and see. Like I said, I don't know. I feel like, you know, Ray J was flip-flopping from last year to this year. I don't even think he knows what he's saying, because to me it's a bunch of word salad. And again, he's just trying to be on Diddy's good grace, even though Diddy's been in jail since last year. I don't know. I just feel like there's more to it than that, and I feel like Ray J is probably scared, and he doesn't want to say too much. And for me, if you don't want to say too much, if you don't want to be involved, stay out of it. Everyone else is. That's been in Diddy's orbit for the last decade. I haven't seen anyone said anything positive about Diddy except for Ray J and maybe Kanye West. But Kanye West, you know Kanye West. He say things to say things. But anyway, moving on with that. Now I want to go and talk about Maya testimony on, oh my gosh, Thursday, and continue on Friday. Now, her testimony was damaging to the defense team. Just what she described, what has happened to her for the last decade, and everything else that had transparent with her and Cassidy, and what she has said up in this stand. And I just want to read to you the stuff that has happened to her. It's very chilling. It's very disturbing. So if you cannot, watch this, I understand. Take a step back, take a step away, because what she has said in her testimony was very damaging. That it just broke my heart, and obviously it broke everyone else's heart that was there. Her support system was just crying. She was in tears herself throughout the whole testimony. It was just crazy. They did not identify, they didn't show her face, the sketches. And all we know is that she's Caucasian, blonde hair. During her testimony, her head was face down. She was soft-spoken, and she was just telling the jurors and everyone else what happened to her for the last decade. And like I said, this is all allegedly what has happened, and I'm just going to read to you a few of her transcript, what has transpired towards her. So Mia began emotional, recalling the first time Diddy allegedly sexually assaulted her. She claimed that they were at the Plaza Hotel during his 40th birthday, and Diddy had rented a penthouse suite. The main party was downstairs. The former assistant claimed she went to the penthouse because she had to stay within eyesight. Diddy allegedly asked to speak to her in the kitchen, where he told her that she was doing a good job and that she didn't need to be scared to go to him because they would be working together closely. Then he allegedly gave her 2 shots of alcohol, which she claims it hit me kind of hard. Diddy went to kiss Mia and had his hand up her dress. She testified. Mia said she did not want Diddy to kiss her or put his hands up on her dress, but she couldn't say no. I was shocked. I froze, said Mia. Mia said that not only was Diddy was her boss, but he was also a very powerful person, she claimed. She didn't remember going to and getting from the kitchen to the penthouse. She testified that she didn't think it would happen again, and that Diddy was drunk and wouldn't remember it because it was an accident. So she just thought in her head, okay, it's not going to happen again. It was tipsy, it was drunk. And she didn't find Diddy attractive. Diddy was 40, she was probably young. She just thought about, that was like her father, and plus on top of that, that was her boss. You know what I mean? She wanted to keep it professional, but Diddy crossed the line there. You know what I mean? That is your employee, and for him to do that, that's just crossing the line. You know what I mean? Can you imagine your boss just coming up to you and then started to kiss you and then put his hand underneath your dress? That is, I wouldn't say subordination, but that's like sexual harassment in a work. Well, they were not at the workplace, but they were at a penthouse. But still, that is your boss, okay? That what Sean Combs did, was inappropriate, and it made her feel uncomfortable and weird. But she thought in her mind, okay, I'm just going to let it slide. So she testified this. It was a call. She was saying about Sean Combs, and I'm just going to read it to you verbatim. What she testified, she said it was a cycle of highs and lows, unequal and equal, toxic. I said abuse, like it was abuse towards her. Then she said she was screaming for help and saying, "You gotta help me. He's going to kill me." And this, I believe that this was Cassidy. Cassidy was running away from Sean Combs, that she was in fear for her life, and he was going to do something to her. And then he told Maya, "Listen, this dude is going to kill me. He's going to kill me. He's going to hurt me, and something has to happen." Then they asked Maya, why you didn't call the cops? And this is incredible what she said. She said it was also a time of period, years before social media or Me Too movement or any other example there where someone had stood up successfully, someone empowered like Sean Diddy Combs. Now, she is correct. At that time, social media wasn't around. Me Too movement wasn't around. And who could she report to, honestly? She tried to report it to the HR, to the assistants. They didn't really do much. They just basically told her, "Oh, we will talk to Puff or Diddy, Sean Combs, whatever he's calling himself these days." That's what they told her. And then she thought, that they will handle it because that's what the HR is about. When something happens inappropriately in the workplace or outside of the workplace, that's what you report to HR about. So there's some documentation that you will let someone know that your boss is being inappropriate towards you. So according to Mia, she could not go to the police because at the time this happened in California, she didn't even say it, but Sean Diddy Combs had the police in their back pocket. He was paying them. So how can she go to the police department and file a claim that she was sexually assaulted by her boss? And if she would have told him Sean Diddy Combs, they wouldn't believe her. They wouldn't, because during her testimony, she said she got pulled over because she was running late, and she realized her license was suspended, or no, not suspended, expired. And the cop pulled her over, a woman, and then the woman asked her where you need to be in such a hurry. She said, "Well, I need to get to work for my boss." And the police officer asked her, "Who's your boss?" She said, "Sean Diddy Combs." The cop didn't believe her. She said, "Well, get him on the phone." Then she got him on the phone. He put on speaker, and then he said, "Hey, Diddy, I'm a big, huge fan," and let her go without any ticket. So that just tells you, and it said it in her mind that she can't even go to the cops, because if she did, no one wouldn't believe her. No one wouldn't. They would have said, "Maybe misunderstood. Maybe it didn't really happen." Just really gaslighting her and basically saying this didn't happen. So who can she turn to when she was sexually assaulted by her boss? She couldn't go to anyone. She tried with her HR. They didn't do anything. She couldn't go to the cops. So, and that's what she said. This is and then what she mentioned, the forced labor, the things that happened to her is just unbelievable crazy. And let's see. Sorry. Okay, so like she said she couldn't get to the law enforcement because, like I said, Puff, that's what they call him at the time, Puffy authority was above the police. Above the police. Meaning that he had police in his back pocket, bodyguards, his assistants, He had so many assistants, his chief executive, whoever. Okay, people have witnessed things that Sean Diddy Combs or Puff, whatever you call him, has done to his assistants, to Cassie, and they said nothing. The only people that really intervened and really protected Cassie in her defense was his personal assistant, which his name is Dion Nash, and Mia, excuse me, who was defending Cassie. Those are the only two. The rest who saw, her being beat up as a pulp and everything did nothing. Did nothing. Just looked a blind eye like this is not my problem. I'm being paid, and this is not my business. Which it should be your business. If you see a man beating up a woman, you should always step up and intervene and stop it. But they didn't do it. And for me, when a man beats up a woman, you're a coward. You can't beat up a man, but you have to beat up a woman who who couldn't defend herself. Disgusting to me. Now, Maya allegedly often saw bruises on Cassie's body, including fat lips, busted eyebrows, and black eyes. She also claimed that the rapper turned violent against Cassie Couture during a Turks and Caicos trip. That to the point that they had to leave and go to the sea, go to the ocean to get away from him. That's how bad it was, you guys. They had to go and paddle and go to the water, and he was just screaming like a maniac, like, where are you going? What are you doing? You tried to kill these two women. You tried to hurt them. So what do you expect them to do? They had to get away from you because you were losing your mind. You were unhinged. Probably on some type of pink cocaine or ecstasy, whatever he was on, Molly, whatever drug he was on that day in Kingston, Turks and Caicos. Now, according to Mia, she said that, now, this is the part I don't understand. Like, he was just very controlling of the personal assistant and Cassie. Like, they couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't go anywhere. Like, he had them, like, on a lock and key. Like these were his children, and he was the father. Like, she couldn't go anywhere at Cassie. They had to stay put at a certain area that they were not allowed to go anywhere. And I'm thinking to myself, these are grown-ass women here. Like, how dare you, order them around and tell them they can't go anywhere? And obviously they were in fear of Sean Diddy Combs because they didn't want to feel his wrath. So obviously they obey until they sneaked to a Prince party, Cassidy and Mia, back on 2011 or 2022. Mia said that they snuck away to attend Prince party without the rapper's permission. Mia testified Thursday that Diddy had gotten a suite and told her to stay that night with Cassidy and make sure that they didn't go to the house because he was going to be with their kids. Now, they didn't know that Diddy was going to be at the Prince party. And then when Diddy saw Cassidy, that's when all hell broke down, over. So according to Mia, once at the party, she claimed that she see Diddy through, I can't even speak, sorry. Once at the party, she claimed to see Diddy coming through wearing a bucket hat. And Mia and Cassidy booked out of the house and tried to hide in the bushes. Can you imagine hiding in the bushes from your boss? Grown-ass women? Not saying I'm blaming on them, but still, crazy. But she claims that Diddy caught Cassidy and had her on the ground. Mia testified that Diddy started to attack her, but security intervened, which Prince security intervened. Thank God someone has some logic, sense to intervene and put a stop to this. Following the incident, the Bad Boy record founder allegedly suspended her without pay. Insubordination. You see what I'm saying? This is wrong. And Sean Diddy Combs knew that. Every time when Mia, his former assistant, did anything to disobey Sean Diddy Combs, he suspended her without pay. And you think the HR are going to question that? No, they're going to say, okay, no problem, which is wrong. And I feel like that's just illegal to do that. You can't suspend someone for subordination because they went to a party that it was not your liking and they're adults. And especially if they're not on a job, kind of saying, and then you just basically told them they couldn't go anywhere. To me, that's not kind of like kidnapping. That's part of the RICO charges, isn't it? I would think so. If you're telling someone not to go anywhere and you just tell them to stay somewhere against their will and they can't go anywhere, I feel like that's part of RICO. I feel like that's like forced labor. And then and you just like told her she couldn't go anywhere. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. Now, she also said that she did not sleep for 5 days, you guys, in the beginning of her training with Diddy Combs. When she testified she did not sleep for 5 days, I'm like, how the hell that's possible? I can't even stay awake for 2 days. How the hell she stood awake for 5 days? 5 days, you guys. And she said the former testified that she wasn't allowed to sleep. Not allowed to sleep. You're not allowed to sleep. You're not allowed to eat. You can't. She can't even go to the bathroom either. Like this is just like slave. Like treating her like slave. It's just disgusting. Mia claims that she once went 5 days without sleeping while working. She had to take Adderall. Okay, it was a prescription Adderall that she was taking since she was 17. She had to take Adderall, you guys. Adderall for her to stay awake. Okay, but then she but then she started to feel physically broken down. Okay, that she lost her hearing, her vision was blurry. The lights was just driving her crazy. That finally, that Diddy said, "Okay, you can go to sleep now." Like really, it's just disturbing. Also, Mia described her first day of work. She explained that she was told she wasn't going to see Diddy for roughly 2 weeks. While she was on trial, she got to the job. Maya was instructed to go to Diddy's house in New Jersey and take notes of what needed attention. She said she was there for a few hours, went back to the office, and the next day then go to Diddy's apartment. According to Mia, she did not sleep during the first 24 hours of the job. So basically, she went to the studio until 1 p.m. the next day. That is freaking nuts. Okay, nuts. That is forced labor abuse. Okay, it's like, I don't know if you guys remember this, like working in a sweatshop for like hours and hours on end, no break, no nothing. You're just working straight through, and you're just so exhausted and tired and not have any sleep. And that's basically what happened to her. What happened to her? It's just nuts. It's just nuts. Now, I just want to mention the assault. Now, Maya said that she was at Diddy's home, and she was not allowed to lock the doors. Basically, this is my house. No one should be locking the doors. But according to Mia, that the bodyguards, they had locks. They had locks and they had bolts on their door. So why she couldn't lock her door? Because according to Mia, that Diddy Combs snuck in while she was sleeping in a bunk bed below and assaulted her. She was stunned. She was shocked. She can't believe that was happening. That he took grabbed one of his hand, unbuckled his pants, and did the deed on her. And she couldn't move. It happened very quickly. He was trying to finish what he needed to finish, and that was it. And she was taken back. She was stunned. She thought in her head that this is not going to happen again. This is just, I don't know what she thought in her mind, but she was just like very taken back that this happened to her. And she still continued to work for him until another incident happened when she was in his house and she was in his closet packing some things for him. And he grabbed her, made her go down on her knees, and she performed oral sex on him, which she did not want to do, and basically forced her to do that on him. And she was just so taken back, felt so disgusted, humiliated by the treatment that he had done to her. It's just crazy. And just the vile things that he did to her, like, for example, throwing a computer at her, throwing her into the pool, assaulting her left and right, and just putting her down, calling her stupid and dumb, or like, what are you here? What do you do in your job? Suspending her without pay. Just like he felt that he had that power to do that towards her, and thinking that no one's not going to say anything. And Diddy Combs' mind, no one's not going to say anything. No one's not going to help you. No one's not going to defend you, because I am the king. I am powerful. No one's not going to believe you. They're going to believe me because I am Sean Diddy Combs. That's in his sick, twisted mind. And that's how she felt at that time. That she felt helpless. She felt, no one wouldn't believe her. No one wouldn't stand up for her. Look at the bodyguards and the people that worked for Sean Diddy Combs. They didn't even do anything to help her or defend her. The HR department, she even spoke to KK, Christina Kamara. Nothing. They didn't do anything. And they knew. They knew. They knew what was going on. And they absolutely said and did nothing to help her. Because what Sean Diddy Combs did was so inappropriate. Left and right. No one can't tell me otherwise. But again, he's not being charged for domestic violence and assault. But remember this, there wasn't dating. Compared to Cassidy and him, they were dating for the last decade. They had no relation. So what Mia was saying during her testimony and Cassidy was saying in her testimony and the stylist, it all combined. It all makes sense. So no one can tell me that these three people are lying because the former assistant Maya was not even in a relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. It just shows you what type of violence that he has towards women, what he's capable of. And that's what the prosecutor is trying to paint out to show the jurors and everyone else what type of man that Sean Diddy Combs is. Okay, obviously he's being charged for three things: racketeering, transportation of prostitution, and what's the other one? Conspiracy. I said racketeering. There was another one. I can't think right now. I have so much going on in my brain. But you get my drift, okay? So you're just painting a picture what type of man this is. And for someone to say, oh, this is not enough to prove the charges, yes, it is. The forced labor, her having sleep deprived, everything that he has done towards her, that's part of the sex trafficking, the RICO charge. It's part of something. Okay, you can't tell me these three people and other people that have been testifying, his former assistants and other people, are lying. Arson with Kid Cudi vehicle, his Porsche. Come on now. Come on, you guys. So her testimony was very, very emotional. It just put me into tears, you guys. Like, I just didn't have any words to describe, the pain and the suffering this woman went through. She didn't even want to testify, okay? She didn't. They told her that she needed to testify, and she did. She told her story for the last 2 days, and she's very brave. She's very brave and courageous for doing this. And I know it wasn't easy for her to relive this story because she was just sobbing and crying on the stand that the jurors were crying. I was crying. That I had to, take a step back and take a walk because I'm like, this is just crazy. Like, you can't make this shit up. You can't. It's just incredible. The things that happened to her. You cannot, guys. You cannot make this stuff up that happened to her or anyone. And this is no excuse. This is just unthinkable to do that to another human being. Period. It's just incredible. So I just wanted to give you my insight and my opinion about day 12 trial, and let me know your thoughts and your comments about it. And I just want to say thank you so much for everyone listening in and tuning in on the Sean Diddy Combs trial and the testimonies that people are being testifying against. And we're just going to see what's going to happen. It's the fourth week. It's so soon for me to tell you if he's guilty or not guilty. I don't know. It can go either way, you guys. I hope and pray that he is guilty and he will serve prison for the rest of his life, because I believe he is guilty of all the charges and all the things that he has done. And again, it's really too soon to tell. A lot of people saying that he's going to walk free. A lot of people saying that he may testify. I don't know. I hope he does testify. I really do. I just hope that he does, even though he has that right to testify, even though his defense team may advise him not to do it. I don't think it would be a good idea. But I hope he does, because if he does testify and take that stand, the prosecutors will rip him into shreds, you guys. Rip him into shreds. And I hope he does, but that is to be determined. if he is going to testify, because it seems like Sean Diddy Combs is very arrogant and he just want to tell his side of the truth, his side of the story. It's possible, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm all for it. I really am. So the prosecutors can nail this son of a bitch. Excuse my French. Yes. So let me know what you think about the video, and please comment, please like, share, and subscribe. And I appreciate each and one of you tuning in to That's It, and I will see you guys next time.